The Interstellar Academy stood as a massive building of silver and blue. Its walls seemed to touch the sky, with windows that changed colors like magic. Inside, students from different planets moved through long hallways. Some walked on two legs, some floated, some moved in ways humans would find strange. J1 Park was different from most students. He was human, the only human in his advanced xenobiology class. His skin looked soft and pink. His body seemed small compared to many alien students. He wore the standard academy uniform, a dark blue jumpsuit with silver trim that marked him as a second-year student. The classroom was huge. Its walls could change from solid to transparent in seconds. Today they showed a deep blue background that looked like an ocean from far away. Holographic displays floated in the air, showing complex biological diagrams that moved and twisted like living things. J1 sat in the middle row. He always chose this spot, not too close to the front, not too far in the back. His dark hair was cut short, and his eyes moved quickly, taking in everything around him. Most of his classmates didn't understand him. They looked at him and saw something weak, something small. To his left sat a Kralthuri student. It was a silicon-based creature that looked like a walking crystal. Its body was hard and sharp, with edges that could cut through metal. The Kralthuri had 6 arms and moved with a clicking sound when it shifted position. Its eyes were like small diamonds that reflected light in weird ways. The Kralthuri kept looking at J1. Its crystal body seemed to change colors slightly, from blue to green to purple, showing different emotions that humans could never fully understand. Right now, its color suggested something between curiosity and mild disgust. Professor Zinra entered the room. She was from Hydros, a planet covered almost completely by water. Her body was covered in soft tentacles that moved like waves. She wore a special teaching suit that helped her communicate with different species. The suit changed colors and shape to help her students understand her better. Today, Professor Zinra announced, her voice coming through universal translators that made her sound smooth and clear, "We will discuss predatory species across the galaxy. We will learn how different life forms survive and hunt." J1 sat very still. He knew what was coming. He had been through this many times before. Alien students always thought humans were weak. They always made jokes about human biology. They didn't understand that being soft didn't mean being weak. The holographic displays began to show images of different predators. There were creatures with multiple arms, beings that could change shape, animals that could shoot poison from a distance. Each image was more amazing than the last. Students watched with interest, making small sounds of excitement. J1 knew the presentation was missing something important. He knew that survival was not just about having hard skin or sharp teeth. Survival was about thinking, about understanding, about adapting. The Kralthuri next to him made a small clicking sound. It was laughing, or what passed for laughing in its species. J1 didn't move. He didn't look angry. He just watched and waited. Professor Zinra continued her lecture. She talked about how different species developed ways to hunt and survive. She showed beautiful and scary images of creatures from 100 different worlds. But something was missing from her lesson, something important about survival. J1 knew he would show them something today, something they had never seen before. He would teach them about what it really means to be a predator, about what it really means to survive. The classroom hummed with energy. Holographic images danced in the air. Alien students from 100 different worlds sat and listened, and J1 Park waited for his moment. He was patient, he was calm, and he was ready to change everything they thought they knew about humans. The classroom split into small discussion groups. Each group had students from different planets. Some groups had 4 members, some had 6. J1's group was unusual. It had 5 students, each more different from the others than anyone could imagine. Lyra sat across from J1. She was a reptilian student from Arid 9, a hot and dry planet where only the toughest creatures survived. Her skin looked like rough green and brown scales. Her eyes were yellow and sharp. When she moved, she made a soft hissing sound that most other students found scary. "Humans are strange," Lyra said suddenly. Her universal translator made her voice sound flat and direct. "You have no natural armor, no claws, no poison. How did your species even survive?" The other students leaned closer. They wanted to hear the answer. The Kralthuri crystal student clicked its diamond-like fingers. A small blue-skinned student from a water planet moved closer. They all waited. J1 looked calm. Too calm. His hands were folded on the table. His datapad sat untouched. He didn't seem worried about Lyra's question. This made the other students more curious. In the background, Professor Zinra was talking to another group. She didn't hear Lyra's challenge. The classroom's walls were still showing ocean scenes, blue and deep, with strange shadows moving in the water. "Survival is not about having hard skin," J1 said slowly. His voice was quiet but clear. "Survival is about something else." Lyra laughed. It was a strange sound, part hiss, part bark. "Something else. Look at you. Your skin is soft like water. Your body has no protection. On my planet, you would not last one day." The other students nodded. They agreed with Lyra. Humans looked weak. They seemed like soft creatures that could be easily broken. Nobody understood how humans had even made it into space. But J1 was not angry. He was not scared. He just watched Lyra with calm eyes. Those eyes had seen things. Those eyes knew something the other students did not know. "Would you like to hear a story?" J1 asked. His voice was smooth. It was the voice of someone who knew something important. The other students looked at each other. This was not what they expected. A challenge was supposed to make someone angry. A challenge was supposed to make someone fight back. But J1 just asked a question. Lyra stopped laughing. Her yellow eyes got narrow. "What kind of story?" "A story about survival," J1 said. "A story about something from my planet. Something that will change how you think about weakness." The blue-skinned water planet student moved even closer. The Kralthuri student's crystal body changed colors, now showing deep purple and dark green. These colors meant serious interest. Professor Zinro was still talking to another group. She did not see what was happening. She did not know that something important was about to happen in J1's small group. Lyra wanted to say something else, but she stopped. Something in J1's voice made her stop. Something in his calm eyes told her that this would be different from any story she had heard before. The classroom seemed to get quiet. The ocean scenes on the walls stopped moving. Everything became still. Everything was waiting for J1 to speak. "Let me tell you about sharks," J1 said. His fingers touched his datapad. The other students leaned closer. They did not know what a shark was, but they could feel that something important was coming. J1 took a deep breath, and then he began to tell a story that would change everything. J1's fingers moved on his datapad. The holographic shark changed. Now it showed something more detailed, something more scary. "Let me tell you about shark biology," he said. His voice was calm, but his eyes were different. His eyes showed something deep, something the aliens did not understand yet. The shark image zoomed in. It showed rows and rows of teeth, not just one row. Many rows, like a nightmare machine designed only to bite and destroy. "Sharks have multiple rows of teeth," J1 explained. "When one tooth breaks or falls out, another tooth moves forward. It is like a living weapon that never stops working." Lyra leaned forward. Her yellow eyes were wide. The blue water planet student moved closer. Even the Kralthuri's crystal body seemed to lean in. J1 continued. "A great white shark can have up to 300 teeth at one time. And these teeth are not like normal teeth. They are sharp like blades. They can cut through hard things easily." The holographic image showed how shark teeth worked, how they could slice through metal-like objects, how they could break bones like they were nothing. Most creatures have weak teeth, J1 said. Sharks have perfect teeth, teeth that can replace themselves, teeth that are always sharp, always ready. The classroom was very quiet. The ocean scenes on the walls seemed to move slower. Everything was listening to J1. But teeth are just part of the story, he said. His voice got lower, more serious. The shark image changed again. Now it showed how sharks could sense things, how they could feel tiny movements in water from very far away. Sharks have special sensors, J1 explained. They can feel electrical signals from living things. Imagine being able to know exactly where something is, even if you cannot see it, even if it is hiding. The Kraltheri student made a small clicking sound. It was a sound of fear, of understanding something scary. These sensors are called ampullae of Lorenzini, J1 said. They can feel the smallest movements, the smallest changes in water. A shark can find a fish hiding under sand. A shark can find a creature trying to hide. Lyra's scales seemed to get darker. Her breathing changed. She was starting to understand something important. J1 talked about shark skin. Not soft like human skin, but like sandpaper. Rough. Perfect for moving through water. Perfect for hunting. Shark skin is covered in small tooth-like scales, he said. These scales make sharks move through water without making noise, without creating waves. A perfect hunter. The holographic shark continued to move. Silent. Powerful. Waiting. But the most scary thing about sharks is not their teeth, J1 said. It is how they hunt, how they think. The aliens leaned closer. Even Professor Zinra had stopped her other work. She was watching J1 now. Sharks do not get tired, he continued. They do not feel fear. They do not stop. If a shark starts hunting, it will keep hunting, no matter what. The Blue Water Planet student made a small sound, a sound of understanding, a sound of fear. Humans study these creatures, J1 said. We do not just fear them. We understand them. We go into the water with them, not to die, but to learn. The shark image continued to move. Its body was perfect. Its movements were perfect. A living weapon that had survived for millions of years. This, J1 said, is what a shark is. The classroom was completely silent. The aliens looked at J1 differently now. He was not just a soft human anymore. He was something else. Something they did not understand. Not yet. The shark continued to swim in the holographic image. Silent. Powerful. Waiting. J1 touched his datapad. A holographic image appeared. It showed a large fish-like creature with rows of sharp teeth. The image was gray and white. It looked both simple and terrifying. This, he said, is a shark. Specifically, a great white shark from Earth's oceans. The alien students looked confused. The Water Planet student leaned forward. Lyra's yellow eyes got very wide. The Kraltheri's crystal body started to change colors, moving from green to a deep, worried blue. Sharks are not like other animals, J1 continued. His voice was calm, but there was something else in his voice, something the aliens could not understand yet. The holographic shark moved. It was not a simple image. It showed how the shark actually moved in water. The movement was smooth, powerful, perfect. Most predators have one way of hunting, J1 explained. Sharks have many ways. They can find food from very far away. They can smell one drop of blood in huge amounts of water. Lyra interrupted. That sounds impossible, she said. Her reptile brain could not understand this. J1 smiled. It was a small smile. A smile that said he was about to show something amazing. One drop of blood, he repeated, in an ocean. Imagine an ocean bigger than your entire home planet. A shark can smell food from kilometers away. Not meters, kilometers. The Blue Water Planet student made a small sound. It was a sound of surprise. of fear. The holographic shark continued to move. Its body was perfect. No extra parts, no useless movements. Everything about the shark was designed to hunt, to survive. Sharks have been on Earth for millions of years, J1 said. They came before trees, before dinosaurs. They survived when other animals died. They survived when entire species disappeared. The classroom was completely quiet now. Even Professor Zinra had stopped talking. She was looking at J1's group. Something was happening. Something important. J1 continued his explanation. He talked about shark teeth. Not just one row of teeth, but multiple rows. Rows that could replace themselves. If a tooth broke, another tooth would come forward. Like a perfect machine. Imagine a predator, he said, that can lose a tooth while hunting, and immediately have a new, sharp tooth ready to replace it. No waiting. No weakness. The Kraltheri student's crystal body was now completely dark blue. Dark blue meant fear in its language. Lyra stopped moving. Her reptile brain was trying to understand. How could a soft creature like a human know so much about something so perfect? But sharks are not just about teeth and smell, J1 said. His voice got softer, but everyone could hear him. Sharks are about something more, something that most species do not understand. The holographic shark continued to move. Its body was a perfect hunting machine. No extra parts, no wasted energy. Sharks do not think like other animals, J1 explained. They do not get tired. They do not get scared. They just hunt. They just survive. The alien students were frozen. They were listening to every word. The shark image continued to move. Swimming. Perfect. Dangerous. And humans. J1 paused. Humans studied these creatures. Humans went into the water with them. Not to die, but to understand them. Something changed in the classroom. The aliens looked at J1 differently now. He was not just a soft human anymore. He was something else. Something they did not understand. Not yet. The shark continued to swim in the holographic image. Silent. Powerful. Waiting. J1 looked at the aliens. They were waiting. They wanted to know more. Humans do something strange, he said. We create stories about things that can kill us. The holographic display changed. Now it showed human-made images of sharks. But these were not scientific pictures. These were different. We make movies about sharks, J1 explained. Big movies, scary movies, movies that show sharks as monsters. Lyra looked confused. Why would you make stories about things that can kill you? J1 smiled. It was a small smile. A smile that said he knew something important. Understanding is more powerful than fear, he said. Humans do not just run from danger. We study danger. We learn from danger. The images showed movie posters, big pictures of sharks, teeth, danger, excitement. The aliens leaned closer. They did not understand. In one famous movie called Jaws, J1 continued, humans made a story about a shark that hunts people. People were scared, but they watched. They learned. The Blue Water Planet student made a small sound. You make entertainment from your own potential death. Not just entertainment, J1 said. Learning. Understanding. He showed more images. Children's books about sharks. Documentaries. Scientific studies. All showing sharks, not as enemies, but as something to understand. Human children learn about sharks, he explained. Not to be afraid, but to know. To understand. The Kraltheri student's crystal body changed colors. Now it was a deep green. A color of thinking. Of understanding. Most species run from danger, J1 said. Humans, we make danger into a story. We make danger into something we can understand. The images continued to move. Sharks in movies. Sharks in books. Sharks in children's drawings. We do not just fear, he continued. We learn. We study. We make art about the things that can kill us. Lyra's scales seemed to move. She was thinking, understanding something new about humans. Imagine a species, J1 said, that looks at something that can kill them. And instead of running, they make stories. They make movies. They learn. The classroom was very quiet. Even the walls seemed to be listening. Humans go into the ocean with sharks, he explained, not to die, but to understand, to learn, to swim next to something that could kill them in seconds. The Blue Water Planet student made a sound. It was a sound of surprise, of respect. We make documentaries, J1 continued. We study shark behavior. We learn how they hunt, how they survive. We do not just fear, we understand. The holographic images showed scientists swimming next to sharks, taking pictures, studying, not afraid, curious. Most species see danger and run, he said. Humans see danger and ask questions. Humans want to know why. How? What makes this dangerous thing work? The Kraltheri student's crystal body was now completely green, the color of deep thinking, of understanding. We do not just survive, J1 said. We understand. We learn. We make stories. The shark images continued to move. Silent. Powerful. Waiting. The aliens looked at J1 differently now. He was not just a soft human anymore. He was something else. Something they did not understand. Not yet. The shark continued to swim in the holographic image. Silent. Powerful. Waiting. The classroom was electric. Something was changing. Something big. Professor Zinra moved closer to J1's group. Her tentacles moved slowly, carefully. She was listening. Really listening. Humans are not what you think, J1 said again. His words were simple, but they were powerful. The holographic display changed. Now it showed humans doing impossible things, exploring places no other species could go. We go where other species are afraid, he explained. We do things that look crazy to other species. Lyra's yellow eyes were wide. The Kraltheri student's crystal body was changing colors faster now, moving between deep blue and bright green. Most species avoid danger, J1 continued. Humans run toward danger. To understand, to learn, to solve problems. The images showed humans in space, humans deep in oceans, humans in places that looked impossible. We created machines to breathe underwater, he said. We created tools to survive in space. We created ways to go where no one thought we could go. The Blue Water Planet student made a small sound, a sound of understanding, of surprise. Imagine a species, J1 said, that looks at something impossible and says, we will do this anyway. The classroom was completely quiet. Even the walls seemed to be listening. Humans do not have natural armor, he explained. So we create better armor. We do not have natural ways to breathe in space. So we create ways to breathe in space. The images showed human inventions, spacesuits, underwater breathing machines, tools that let humans go anywhere. We look weak, J1 said. Our skin is soft. We are not fast. We are not strong like other species. But we never stop trying. The Kraltheri student made a clicking sound. It was a sound of respect, of understanding. Most species are happy with what they have, he continued. Humans always want more, always want to learn, always want to understand. A holographic display showed human exploration. Humans going to the deepest parts of the ocean. Humans going to the highest mountains. Humans going to other planets. We study things that can kill us, J1 said. Not to be afraid, but to understand, to learn, to survive. Lyra's scales seemed to move. She was thinking, understanding something new about humans. Look at sharks, he explained. Most species would run from sharks. Humans? Humans swim with sharks. Humans study sharks. Humans make movies about sharks. The blue water planet student leaned closer. Its eyes were wide, listening. We do not just survive, J1 said. We explore. We learn. We create. The images continued to move, showing human creativity, human ability to solve impossible problems. Imagine a species, he said, that looks at the impossible and sees a challenge. Not a wall, not a stop, but a challenge to be solved. Professor Zinra moved closer. Her tentacles were moving slowly, carefully. She was understanding something new about humans. Most species have limits, J1 continued. Humans? Humans break limits. Humans create new ways, new solutions. The Kralthari student's crystal body was now a bright, shining green. The color of complete understanding. We are not strong like other species, he said. We are something else. We are thinkers, creators, explorers. The classroom was electric. Something had changed, something big. The aliens looked at J1 differently now. He was not just a soft human anymore. He was something else, something they did not understand. Not yet. J1 smiled. A small smile. A smile that said the story was not over. Not even close. J1 looked at the aliens. They were different now. They were listening. Really listening. Humans are not what you think, he said. His voice was calm. But there was something else in his voice. Something powerful. The classroom was very quiet. Even the walls seemed to be waiting. Most species have natural weapons, J1 explained. Claws, poison, hard skin. Humans have something different. Lyra leaned forward. Her yellow eyes were watching every movement. The Kralthari student's crystal body changed colors. Now it was a deep, thinking blue. Humans have something more powerful than teeth, J1 continued. We have something that changes everything. The holographic display changed. Now it showed human tools, human inventions, things humans made to survive. We create, he said. We think. We solve problems. The images moved quickly, showing how humans solved difficult problems, how humans made tools, how humans changed the world around them. Imagine a species, J1 said, that does not have sharp teeth, but can create tools that are sharper than any tooth, faster than any claw. The blue water planet student made a small sound, a sound of understanding. Humans look soft, J1 explained. Our skin is not hard. We cannot fight like other animals, but we can think. We can create. We can survive. The images showed human inventions, things that helped humans explore dangerous places, things that helped humans understand the world. We go to the deepest oceans, he said. We go to the highest mountains. We go to space, places no other species can go. The Kralthari student made a clicking sound. It was a sound of respect. Most species are limited, J1 continued. They can only live in one place, do one thing. Humans adapt. Humans change. The holographic display showed humans in different environments. Cold places, hot places, underwater, in space, everywhere. We do not have natural armor, he said, so we create armor. We do not have natural weapons, so we create weapons. We do not have natural ways to survive in hard places, so we create ways to survive. Lyra's scales seemed to move. She was thinking, understanding something new about humans. Imagine a species, J1 said, that looks at a problem and does not give up. A species that keeps trying, keeps learning, keeps creating. The classroom was completely quiet. Even Professor Zinra was listening now. Humans survive not because we are strong, he explained. Humans survive because we are smart, because we learn, because we never stop trying. The images continued to move, showing human inventions, human discoveries, human ways of solving problems. We look at something dangerous, J1 said. And we do not just run. We study it. We understand it. We find a way to survive. The Blue Water Planet student made a sound. It was a sound of surprise, of respect. Sharks are not our enemy, J1 continued. Sharks are a lesson about survival, about never giving up. The Kraltheri student's crystal body was now a bright green, the color of understanding, of respect. Most species see a problem and stop, he said. Humans see a problem and find a solution. We create. We think. We survive. The holographic images continued to move, showing human creativity, human ability to solve problems. The aliens looked at J1 differently now. He was not just a soft human anymore. He was something else, something they did not understand. Not yet. J1 smiled, a small smile, a smile that said he was not finished, not even close. J1 looked at the aliens. They were listening, really listening now. Sharks are not just animals, he said. They are something more. They are a perfect story of survival. The holographic image changed. Now it showed different types of sharks. Some were small. Some were huge. Some looked like monsters from a nightmare. Earth has many kinds of sharks, J1 explained. Some are tiny. Some are bigger than this entire classroom. But they all have one thing in common. Lyra leaned forward. Her yellow eyes were watching every movement. The Kraltheri student's crystal body changed colors. Now it was a deep, dark blue, the color of deep thinking. What thing? Asked the Blue Water Planet student. Its voice was soft, scared. Survival, J1 said. Pure survival. He touched his datapad again. The image showed shark fossils, old bones that were millions of years old. Sharks have been on Earth for 450 million years, he said. Dinosaurs came and went. Many animals died. But sharks stayed. The aliens looked confused. Most species they knew did not survive for so long. Most species change. Most species disappeared. Imagine an animal, J1 continued, that does not need to change. An animal so perfect that it does not need to become something else. The shark images moved. They showed different shark species. Each one looked almost the same as the fossils from millions of years ago. Humans study these creatures, he said. We want to understand why they survive, how they survive. The Blue Water Planet student made a small sound. It was a sound of understanding, of fear. J1's voice got softer, but everyone could hear him. Most animals have weakness, he explained. They get sick. They get tired. They need rest. Sharks do not understand these words. The holographic sharks continued to move. Silent. Perfect. Some sharks must keep moving to breathe, J1 said. If they stop, they die. So they never stop. They are always moving, always hunting. Lyra's scales seemed to get darker. Her breathing changed. She was understanding something important about survival. Humans go into the water with these creatures, J1 said. Not to die, but to learn, to understand. The classroom was completely quiet. Even the walls seemed to be listening. Sharks have special skills humans do not have, he continued. They can feel electrical signals. They can smell tiny amounts of blood. They can move without making noise. The Kraltheri student made a clicking sound. It was not a laugh. It was a sound of respect. But humans, J1 paused. Humans do something different. Humans study. Humans learn. Humans go where other species are afraid to go. The shark images continued to move. Each movement was perfect. Each movement showed millions of years of survival. On Earth, we have a saying, J1 said. Know your enemy. Learn from your enemy. Understand your enemy. The aliens looked at each other. They were not sure what this meant. Sharks are not our enemy, J1 explained. Sharks are a teacher. They teach us about survival, about never giving up. The holographic sharks continued to swim. Silent, powerful, waiting. The aliens were quiet. They were thinking. They were understanding something new about humans, about survival. J1 smiled, a small smile, a smile that said he was not finished. Not yet. The shark continued to swim in the holographic image. Silent, powerful, waiting. The classroom was different now. Something had changed. Something big. Professor Zinra moved closer to J1. Her tentacles moved slowly, carefully. She was thinking, really thinking. That was not just a lesson, she said. Her voice was quiet, but everyone could hear her. J1 looked at her. He smiled, a small smile, a smile that said he knew something important. The alien students were quiet. They were not looking at a soft human anymore. They were looking at something else, something they did not understand before. Lyra, the reptile student, was the first to speak. Humans are not weak, she said. It was not a question. It was a statement. The blue water planet student nodded. Its eyes were different now. They saw something new about humans. We thought humans were soft, the Kraltheri student said. Its crystal body was still bright green, the color of understanding. We were wrong. The holographic shark continued to move in the background, silent, powerful, waiting. Professor Zinra looked at J1. You showed us something today, she said. Something more than a lesson. Something important. J1 nodded. He did not say anything. He did not need to. Humans look weak, the professor continued. But weakness is not about how you look. Weakness is about how you think, how you solve problems. The classroom was completely quiet. The walls seemed to be listening, waiting. Most species see a problem and stop, J1 said. His voice was calm. Humans see a problem and find a solution. The Kraltheri student made a clicking sound, a sound of respect, of understanding. We studied sharks, J1 explained, not because we are brave, but because we want to understand. We want to learn. Lyra's scales moved. She was thinking, understanding something new about humans. Humans do not have natural weapons, he continued. So we create better weapons. We create better tools. We create better ways to survive. The blue water planet student leaned closer. Its eyes were wide, listening. Professor Zinra moved closer. You showed us, she said, that survival is not about looking strong. Survival is about thinking, about learning, about never giving up. The holographic display continued to show images, humans exploring, humans creating, humans solving impossible problems. Humans are not just a species, J1 said. Humans are a way of thinking, a way of solving problems, a way of surviving. The Kraltheri student's crystal body was now a bright, shining color, the color of complete understanding. We thought humans were weak, Lyra said again. We were wrong. The classroom was electric. Something had changed forever. Professor Zinra looked at J1. You did not just give a lesson today, she said. You showed us something important about survival, about life. J1 smiled, a small smile, a smile that said the story was not over, not even close. The holographic shark continued to move in the background, silent, powerful, waiting. The aliens looked at J1 differently now. He was not just a student anymore. He was something else, something they would never forget. Humans, J1 said quietly, are not what you think. And in that moment, everything changed. The shark continued to swim in the holographic image, silent, powerful, waiting. Asterisk humanity, not weak, just waiting asterisk.